UK Health Agency cites benefits of first cousin marriage in bizarre report, unsurprisingly sparks outrage. Let's just get into this article then, shall we? A major health authority has pulled its recent report citing the benefits of first cousin marriage after it sparked widespread outrage. Boy oh boy, I wonder the ethnicity of the person that wrote that article. But anyway, the UK's National Health Service, NHS, came under fire after publishing guidance that experts claimed promoted inter-family unions, despite well-documented concerns about the increased risk of birth defects. In fact, one of the hotspots for birth defects in Britain is Bradford, because you're getting people that are marrying their cousins and sisters and family members all over the place there. What's the major ethnicity in Bradford? Don't fucking worry about it. But still, it's just like you can kind of already tell who wrote this. Research cited in the article titled "Should the UK Government Ban First-Person Marriage?" described various potential benefits of marrying a first cousin. Like, I'm not trying to choose between sound systems. We each has their benefits, like that's not, you don't marry your fucking cousin. Including stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages, the Telegraph reported. Wow, that's great. How wonderful. But many were quick to point out the report published by the NHS England's Genomics Education Programme last week. Genomics, that's interesting. People that study genomes encouraging incest. That's fascinating. It's like the vegans advising you to eat ground beef. Failed to properly assess the risks associated with having children with a once removed relative. First cousins are determined as a relative who is the child of a parent's sibling. They also share a set of grandparents. In Australia, marrying a cousin is generally legal under the Federal Marriage Act 1961, as there are no specific prohibitions against it. The UK and other countries across Europe take a similar legal stance, though the Act is becoming increasingly scrutinised, particularly by doctors who warn that children of first cousins are more likely to experience an array of health problems, the BBC reports. Because again, just look at the Habsburgs. They were like, one of them, like an actual king was literally like one of them. Like he just drooled all the time. He couldn't even speak or do any legislation or anything like that at all. I shouldn't be too mean because old Edward follows me on Twitter. Sorry, Ed. Anyway, in every pregnancy, there is a 2 to 3% risk that a child from two unrelated people will have a birth defect or disability. However, this risk will double to about 5 to 6% when the parents are first cousins, so let's not take that risk. In Western countries, the practice is now widely deemed taboo, as it should be, but in other countries such as the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, it is still a common occurrence. Cultures that practice and encourage first cousin relationships have also been linked to the oppression of women. Again, what country could this be? In the since deleted NHS article, it was explained that first cousin marriages have been legal in the UK since the 1500s, when King Henry VIII married Catherine Howard, his ex wife's cousin. That doesn't really count if it's your ex-wife's cousin. You're not related at that point, but then again, they're royals, so maybe they were. So what do I know? It also noted that inter-family marriages have long been the subject of scientific discussion due to the increased risk of inherited diseases, and discussed other external factors like alcohol use during pregnancy, smoking, and the age of the parents. The report pointed out that none of these factors are banned in the UK, Fox News reported. Dr. Patrick Nash, an expert on religious law and director of the Faroes Foundation Social Science Research Group in Oxford, called the guidance truly dismaying. Cousin marriage is incest, plain and simple, and needs to be banned with the utmost urgency. It's amazing that that has to be said out loud. There is no balance to be struck between this cultural lifestyle choice and the severe public health implications it incurs, he told the Telegraph. The official article is deeply misleading and should be retracted with an apology so that the public is not misled by omission and half-truths. The NHS has since removed the report from its website in response to the backlash after earlier defending the research. The article published on the website of the Genomics Education Programme is a summary of existing scientific research and the public policy debate, a spokesperson for the National Health Authority said. It is not expressing an NHS view. You were trying to remove the word mothers and fathers. What was it? Breastfeeding people. Breastfeeding, but you mean mothers, you mean women. Oh, but you weren't allowed to say that, were you? It's estimated that more than 10% of all marriages worldwide are between first or second cousins. What country's the hotspot for that? Anyway, those stats are difficult to accurately record, since such marriages have long been an underground phenomenon, largely due to incest-related stigma. Incest should be stigmatized. Incest should very, very, very strongly be stigmatized. There's so much stigma. Good. If something's stigmatized, it's usually for a reason. There's usually a very good reason. People don't stigmatize things for no reason. If there's a stigma around something, there's usually a pretty good fucking reason. But anyway, a US state recently enforced new rules on first cousin marriage in light of changing attitudes. I wonder what state that... But anyway, from October the 1st, Connecticut is banned knowingly marrying a first cousin, according to the US Sun. Oh, sometimes you just unknowingly marry your cousin. You know, it's just a thing that happens sometimes. You're out, you have 8 pints deep, you have a couple of lines, you wake up and you're married to your fucking cousin, right? Total accident. We've all been there. But anyway, currently 24 US states prohibit it, and 8 states, Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Minnesota, Tennessee, Utah, and Wisconsin. Yep, there they are. Allow it only under specific conditions. Norway banned cousin marriages in 2023, and a planned ban is set to take place in Sweden from mid-2026. Good luck with that. There are now similar calls for the UK to follow suit, with the Conservative Party recently proposing a bill that would see an end to cousin marriage amid growing public health concerns. However, there are some that argue the legislation would be discriminatory and culturally insensitive, with experts claiming education is a better way of dealing with the declining trend, The Guardian reported. Oh, is it insensitive? I don't care. Culturally insensitive? I don't care. I'm very, very sorry, but the cousin fucking will stop. Right, just like the beheadings and human sacrifices will stop, the cousin fucking will stop. Right? Tough shit. There are millions and billions of other women out there in the world. Go find one. Go find one. Right? Like, it doesn't have to be your cousin. What happens if you're Pakistani and your cousin's ugly as shit? Huh? What then? Right? Just fucking... There are lots of women out there. Go find them. In the midst of the public debate, Faz, a woman from Grimsby in Northern England, went public with her relationship with family member Anya, 18. But the couple have now found themselves at the heart... Anya, is this two lesbians? A family member? Who is it? But the couple have now found themselves at the heart of a barrage of abuse from mean trolls who have described their story as something from the 1800s, The Sun reported. I mean, if they're saying, this is straight from the 1800s, I wouldn't call that a troll, that's just a comment. Posting on social media, Faz answered a question about how long the pair, whose parents are siblings, had been together, right? So you're in a lesbian relationship with your cousin. And judging by the names, I know what you are. Anyway, only 2 months as we had to keep our relationship quiet because we are cousins, she replied. Alongside the short clip, Faz later wrote, as they say, keep it in the family. And added the hashtag relationship goals. Social media users were gobsmacked by the fact the couple are related, declaring it wild and shocking in the comments. Now, here's the thing now, whenever I have to talk about this fucking subject, I always have to bring this part up. You are naturally not inclined to be sexually attracted to any of your family members. I've said this to people multiple times. Have you ever noticed how you're just not sexually attracted to any of your family members? Like, you don't even have to try. It's just a thing. You're just not. It's just not there. You don't have those kind of thoughts about them at all. Now, that should partly, hopefully, stem from you just being a moral, good and normal fucking person, but it's actually in your nature. Your body, your internal firmware of your body that tells you to eat and sleep and fucking all the other, background processes that run in your body, it's actively telling you not to do that. No, don't do that. Otherwise, I've said this before, you'll end up birthing that Mongo that's not going to be able to defend itself, and it'll run up to the saber-tooth's fucking cave and go, oh, like fucking, and then get eaten. Right, that's why you don't do that. Our species is about survival, funnily enough. We're all about survival. If you give birth to some fucking sloth from the Goonies, it's not going to survive. I don't know, Sloth's pretty fucking strong, so maybe, right, big hug, breaks the saber-tooth's back. But still, right, you don't do it, and it's naturally built into you. That's why all of you watching right now don't feel any feelings like that towards your family members, or at least I hope you fucking don't. Right, it's also the pheromones as well. Your body, you can't smell it, you can't go, that's grandmother. Actually, I can smell my grandmother. She smells like piss and Benson hedges. Right, but you know what I mean. Basically, your pheromones are telling you don't like this person, don't be attracted to this person. Also, another one as well is if someone is your physical type, but for some reason you can't understand why you're just not attracted to them, that's their pheromones that you're smelling that's preventing you from being attracted to them, not because you're related, but because you're not a good genetic match. That's one thing I bet you didn't know as well. Women and men can smell each other, that they're a good genetic match, and that actually starts driving the attraction to that person. Pheromones are fucking weird, by the way. Why are nightclubs a fucking hotspot for everybody being violent and fucking fighting? Oh, why were a bunch of horny men are in a cramped room with all those fucking ovulating females in the fucking air, and you throw a bunch of cocaine and alcohol in the mix? Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder why fights happen. But still, incest is bad, right? And I do think it's very funny how the NHS went from, drink a lot of water every day, do some light exercise, remember, and don't smoke, and everyone to fuck your cousin. Right, what great advice. What wonderful, great advice from the NHS. Like, while I'm waiting for 9 months an appointment, it's okay. I can always just bang a family member. That's a joke. Right, but still, this was fucking dumb, and I already know the nationality of the person who wrote that article.